Hey YouTube, going to try to make a quick video here of an F6B 2013 coolant change. And I'm going to just go with the cheap way. I'm going to use this coolant right here. It does say for motorcycles and whatnot. It's not what a lot of folks use, but it looks like it's going to be fine and has everything that has everything it needs and doesn't need for the system here. So, long life antifreeze coolant type 2. Got it from the Honda dealership. I've done many changes before on other bikes and on my full dress, and I've just went with this Prestone. Never had any issues, but I'm going to try to do it the legit way this time, and well, put the majority of this in. I might, since I think it calls for a little over 4 quarts, I might be throwing some Prestone in there too, so since I got some left over. But anyway, it says to remove the lower cowl. I'm going to try to do it without doing that, and we're going to see how it works. And no tools to remove this trim piece to get to this pocket, and you know that's where that radiator cap is we got to get to. So I'm going to go to work on this now in removing this. Everybody says to start from the bottom. I've removed the one on the other side before, never this one. Well, I say that. Some people say, one person said start from the top. Most people say start from the bottom. I started from the bottom on the other side. It worked out good. So I'm going to do the same thing here and let you see what this looks like with no plastic tools. See that one tab broke free there, and just work it out a little bit. Presto. No tools needed. Right there is what we're going to be removing, I believe. Let's see here. I think we're just going to take these two out to get this pocket out. This is a fake pocket here. So I think it's just these two screws right here. So I'll pause real quick and we'll get those out. Alright, so I'm going to just pop these out right here with this universal set. I keep this in my bike because that opens up a lot of compartments here on the old F6B. You want to be careful here. It looks like that could fall down in a crack, and that would not be good. I think I'm going to looking for my magnet here. Yep, there we go. So just going to use this to make sure that doesn't fall down in the little crack. All right, and continue on here. thing you got to be super careful whenever you're doing anything on your bike. I've dropped tools before and parts, and so easy to dent a gas tank. Not so much this one, but other bikes I've had, I've dented parts from tools falling down, so just be careful. Yeah, a couple of those, we'll put those aside. Don't have to mark them. This isn't an air filter change or anything. So let's lift this up. And that's all there is to it on the F6B. I've had a full dresser before with wind wings and all that stuff on it, and that right there would have probably taken me 15-20 minutes to go that far. That's why I love the F6B. Doesn't have a lot of the, well, this one doesn't even have heated grips. Probably would have had to disconnect something on there. There's my cruise control, if you haven't seen my other videos. So not a lot of gadgets on these, but when it comes to working on them, you will love them. So easy. The oil change is probably the easiest thing I've ever done on this F6B. I did it without even putting it on the center stand. All right, so again, we're just going to put some parts safely away. Real amateur. This is not my day job for sure on working on bikes, but I just kind of like doing it on the simple stuff. I don't really like valve adjustments or any of that noise, but so the next thing I got to do, this is where the coolant is. There we go. Losing my mind. So here's your coolant right here. That's the reserve tank. We're going to be doing a chop-in special on that. And that means we're not going to be removing that tank. We're going to be trying to use our little siphon hose to drain that instead. All right, up on the center stand. So we got the left cover off, and we got the fake pocket off, and now we're ready to drain this sucker. So I'm going to open this up right now, just a little. I'm going to go ahead and twist that off. Perfect. This has been in there since the bike was made, I'm sure. 2013. It's now 2017. And I just want to make sure it's changed. I bought this bike used, and this is the last thing I got to do. Oil got changed. Of course, clutch, brake, all fluids have changed except for this now. I'm going to try to tackle this on my own. We'll pause this real quick and get the camera disconnected. We're going to get up under here. I'm going to try to show you this drainage plug. Okay, so here we are under the bike, and I hope you can see that right there. I can't really see what you're seeing, but that's the plug. It's right by this oil filter, and that's the drain bolt. And it says to remove this lower cowl, which is really only, it looks like 4 bolts to do it. Maybe more, but it looks like 4. And it might make it a lot easier, but I'm lazy. So I'm going to try to just put an extension up there and get that, that plug bolt off. We'll see how it goes. Okay guys, I got in there and gave up. So I am removing this lower cowl. It's just not worth the grief. I've got my little concoction here. I put a, if I could have just used like a screw driver type thing. I had this on there and the bolt was on too tight. So I'm going to give up. I went ahead and shot it with a with some WD-40, and so hopefully that's getting loosened up. And as that's loosening it up, its grip again probably not opened up since the motorcycle's conception on that drain plug. So those, by the way, look identical, so you don't have to mark them. And come over here. There's another one right there. Again, it's about 95, 100 degrees in this garage. I probably should have waited until night, but let's knock it out. See that other one right there? Hopefully that's the only 4 bolts on here. Guess I could have went to my service manual and confirmed that, but hey, that ruins half the fun, right? Oh boy, yeah. That does have 2 more in it. So you gotta get these 2 here on each side, it looks like. And hopefully once those are out, it will just drop straight off there. There's one. Hopefully that's the same size. We'll confirm it. Ooh. Nope. See, that one's a little longer. So we got to make sure those go in the top. And one more here. And there's your lower cowl. And again, trying to keep it simple here. I'm going to put this on my tripod so I don't drop it. There we go. Try to keep it simple here as far as accessories go. The more accessories, the more you have to remove when you're doing stuff like this. And I just like to keep a simpler life right now. Whoa. So yeah, that still doesn't want to come off there. But is it giving me enough room to do what I got to do? Looks like we might have a couple more, just a couple of these push deals, and then I got her off. So never can remember if it's just a quarter turn or if you push these deals, how to get that thing off. These clips Honda loves using. So easy. All right. Give me a second. Okay guys, so these were the last 2 things you have to take out. These trim clips are called, and you just pull on them. No other way to do it. So, and then I think yes, when you push them back in, you have to pull them back out to latch them. Weird little deal. Anyway, you got 2 of those that have to come out. And then there goes your lower cowl. Set that aside. And boy, that does make that look a lot easier to get to, as somebody told me it would on a forum. I tried to do it the shortcut, didn't work out. So let's try to lower this down here, and I can get you an idea of where and how much room you have now. So now you get a lot better shot at this. Here's the collar right here. Where's my flashlight? Here's the collar right there with that drain bolt. Hopefully that's it, sitting right inside of that. And it's an 8mm. All right, guys, there's definitely some rust underneath there, but she seems to be draining pretty good. Got my cap removed. Doesn't look too bad. Whoever knows though, right? Better safe than sorry. Let that drain out. And while that's draining out, let's go ahead and work on this puppy. Long end goes way down in there. And as long as this bad boy is underneath, I'm hoping to have some good luck here. Got to hold your finger over this. Oh yeah, came right out. See if we can get that started, and it should flow. It's wanting to. There we go. Okay, well, I think we got it down to just about all of the coolant out of that reserve tank. Again, probably not the A-student way to do this, but taking a little bit of advice from Choppin', who I guess had pulled that tank off, and it was a bear to get back on. So 2 or 3 minutes it says to let it idle. We're going to snap it a couple of times. And this is just runoff. I don't checking for leaks here. Looks like I tighten that up again. No torque wrench here. Just tighten it till it felt tight and an extra spin. I don't see anything leaking, which is great news. And we're going to just let this idle here for a couple of minutes. Sounds pretty good. And then we'll blip the throttle, and then we'll fill that sucker back up, cap off that reserve tank, should be good to go. Now another thing you're going to want to be careful of, oh, and see that has drained down, so I filled it up, blipped it. Okay, so I filled it up, I blipped it. It started smoking a little bit, and I was like, oh crap. And then I looked down underneath here, and I had some leaking. Well, what had happened was, you got to be real careful here. When you get to that 3.7 quarts, slow drastically down, and you're just going to want to keep checking this so you don't get any overrun. As it started smoking a little bit, I thought I had big trouble there. So I shut it off. Again, you'll see after I did that, though, and I filled it up again, some bubbles must have went down. I think I'm going to start this up again, let it run a little bit more, blip it a few more times, just to make sure the system's completely bled. Because I know if you don't have that right up to that filler cap, you're going to have overheating problems up to that neck, because that's what initiates that thermostat, keeps everything running nicely. So I'm going to fill that up just a tad more right up to that filler neck, and you see it kind of went down a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and fill up the reserve tank. So I think I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and fire it up. I'm going to let everything run here. Yeah, looking for smoke here. I'm not going to freak out. I try to dry it off as much as I can in there. Took that coolant off there. It got some spillage. Just be real careful when you're filling that up, because it will get up there quick. So I'm on operating temperature, and that's where it's pegged. You know, these Goldwings, they don't leave that spot too often unless you start having, if you got trouble, you're going to see it pretty quick. The Vulcan just had a heat light, didn't have a cold hot. I love that gauge. So that should be it, folks. I'm going to go ahead. If I think of something else, I'll record it. I'm going to have to go ahead and put things back on. Really don't have to do it in any certain order. And changing the coolant.